I love the Italian language. I really do. I find it extremely fun to speak with Italians. However, it's not exactly a language that makes a whole lot of sense.
Okay, so Nathaniel Drew just released this new video about why the Italian language makes no sense. And being a native Italian speaker and an Italian and English teacher, I just need to watch it. Before we start, if you've never heard about Nathaniel and his very small YouTube channel, just 1 million plus subscribers. I mean, he's a young American content creator focusing mostly on self-development, but he often ventures into a bunch of different interesting topics, including language learning. If, on the other hand, you know him well, but you have no idea who I am, which is much more likely, nice to meet you. My name's Mattia, and I've been uploading content about the Italian language, the Italian culture, and language learning in general on this channel, Lingua Franca, for almost 1 year now. But now, let's check out Nathaniel's video.
I love the Italian language. I really do. I find it extremely fun to speak with Italians.
Well, that's a good start.
However, it's not exactly a language that makes a whole lot of sense sometimes. If I think about it, all languages have their quirks. I know that spelling words in English can make no sense whatsoever sometimes.
That's absolutely right.
The way we spell words like asthma, doubt, kernel, yeah. I feel bad for foreigners that have to learn English. But anyway, that's not what this is about. I want to complain about the nonsensical aspects of the Italian language.
Let's do that.
It's a good idea to just accept what's going on there and not question things too much, to just enjoy the ride. So I thought I would break down 3 elements of the Italian language that, in my opinion, make no sense whatsoever, and we could have a little laugh about it.
I'm very curious to know what he chose.
Here's what Italians are going to think about all this, because maybe it's just normal to them, but when you translate these things to English, they sound ridiculous. So, without further ado, le bestemmie.
Of course.
Italians know what's coming here. In most languages, you have 2 tiers, right? You have normal words, and then you have bad words, the words that you don't say around children. And these in Italian are called parolacce. So normal words and bad words. Every language has them. In English, it's words like fuck, shit, damn. And in Italian, they would be words like This video is so getting demonetized if YouTube figures out.
I really don't know what it is, but it's always fun to hear foreigners swear in Italian.
What I'm saying in Italian. Anyway, so we have normal words and we have bad words, but there's another level beyond that in Italian that does not exist in other languages as far as I'm aware. This is what makes Italian so great, in my opinion. This new level is called le bestemmie, and that translates to blasphemy, okay? Now, I do not mean to be disrespectful here, okay? And I mean it when I say you really should not use these words around Italians. They will get offended. They're literally the worst things you can say in Italian. I'm not exaggerating. However, when you translate them to English, they don't make any sense whatsoever. They don't even really sound that bad. So I'll give you some examples here. I am making this for educational purposes.
Of course, Nathaniel.
Bad, in fact, that I'm only going to give you the English translations. And if you want to figure out how to say it in Italian for yourself, you're going to need to look it up online. Yes. I think there's more than this very short list that I've compiled here, but I'm going to give 3 examples.
There's a lot more than 3.
The first and the most common one that I have heard is basically pig god, like a god that is a pig. It's really bad, trust me.
With emojis as well. I love it.
It's really bad. Don't try this with Italians. The second example here is in reference to the Virgin Mary. It would be the pig version of the Virgin Mary.
Wait, what? Oh, fuck, yeah, got it. Yeah, never thought about it that way, but yeah, makes sense.
Example I have to share here is dog god. Right.
I love the little emojis. They're very representative. So yeah, he's right. There are 3 levels of swearing in Italian, and as far as I know, the 3rd one, the blasphemy one, only exists in Italy. And technically, some of this kind of swearing, is considered against the law, like properly illegal, although I don't think it's been enforced in a very long time. But yeah, le bestemmie is a big part of the Italian swearing, and they're very used actually, especially in informal contexts. Yeah, they're the worst kind of swearing you could do in Italian. So before you go on, please make sure that the people you're with, they're not religious. Otherwise, I mean, it's still fun hearing foreigners say them. What can I say? It is, it just is.
Still kind of melts my brain. When I want to say that I like something, I would say mi piace questa o quella cosa. Mi piace literally means to me it likes. To say you like me, in Italian, you would say something like ti piaccio. So essentially, in Italian, to say I like you, you say you like me. And if you want to say you like me, you say I like you.
Yeah, that is true, although I don't know, the way he explained it sounds very complex. What's happening here is that we've got a mi, which is the short version of a me, which means to me. So the English subject becomes the indirect object, while what is liked becomes the subject. It sounds incredibly hard, theoretically, although once you start using it, once you understand the proper sentence building, it's really not that hard.
Oh, hi. This is Editor Me. I just forgot to tell you something very important, which is that if you're an expat in Italy or you plan to be one at any point in your life, I highly suggest you check out this Facebook group called Expats in Italy, where you'll find tons of people able to help you with, well, basically all aspects of moving to Italy. They're also running a contest that you can enter for $10, where you can win a house. I'm not kidding, a proper house in Rome. Check it out, all links in description. Back to the video now.
Okay, let's move on.
This is like the most ridiculous one, in my opinion. Italians are literally insane when it comes to body parts. To explain why this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, let me give a little bit of context first. In Italian, nouns are split into different groups. In this case, masculine and feminine. It can be really random, but there are certain trends across the language. So for example, to say a house in Italian, you'd say una casa, and that ends with an A, and many nouns that end with an A are feminine. An oven in Italian is un forno, and that ends in an O, and many nouns that end in O are masculine. There are exceptions, but trends like this kind of help. Ultimately, the only way to really know for sure is to just memorize words one by one, but there you have it.
That's actually very true. The fact that sometimes in language learning, you've got something that has a trend, which is not a proper rule. So in traditional language teaching, they usually don't tell you that because they teach you rules. But I find it incredibly useful to use this kind of trends to just, make it easier to memorize stuff. You won't get it right 100% of times, but that's not what language learning is for, right? You want to learn and speak a different language. You don't want to sound perfect in that language. So yeah, good point, Nathaniel.
So now that we have that cleared up, let's go back to body parts. One finger in Italian is un dito. Which is pretty simple, right? Masculine, easy. So logically, you would think, okay, one finger is masculine, so maybe two fingers would also be masculine, right? If only it were that simple. A lot of body parts
I know, right?
in the plural turn to feminine. So two fingers is actually due dita, ends with an A. One knee, un ginocchio. Two knees, due ginocchia. So there's one final point to add on these sort of generalizations that we can make about the Italian language. Masculine in the singular ends with an O, and masculine plural ends with an I, usually. And there's exceptions to this. I'm generalizing a lot here. And then for feminine, ends with an A in singular and ends with an E in plural. Now, the reason why it makes it...
But please, Americans, remember that E in Italian is pronounced E. I know it's weird for you, but for us, it's weird to pronounce a E like a E. Why would you? It's a E.
Especially confusing with body parts, is that singular masculine turns into singular feminine, even though we're talking about multiple body parts here. So again, basically, one finger in English is un dito, one finger masculine in Italian. But two fingers in English is due dita in Italian, which sounds like one feminine finger. It goes from one masculine finger to one feminine finger. When I first stumbled on this, I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's usually the reaction.
Expressions like I have my fingers crossed, which would be ho le dita incrociate, looks to me like I have my one feminine finger crossed.
I know. So yeah, that's correct. And yeah, it doesn't make much sense, I know. The fact is that, as I'm sure Nathaniel knows, those words which plural forms and in a, they sound like a singular feminine, but as he said, that's not a rule. Those plurals ending in a actually comes from Latin. In particular, they were neutral Latin nouns. But, interesting, although confusing fact, the masculine plural ending with an I often still exists. It's just used with a different meaning. As an example, Nathaniel mentioned that the plural for dito is dita, but the word diti exists as well. You just use it when you talk about specific fingers, like in due diti indici. Confusing, right?
This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
This video, not sponsored by anyone, but hey, NordVPN, give me a call maybe. Okay, so first of all, kudos to Nathaniel for learning Italian, and you can see how well he learned it in the 2 videos I'm gonna put in the description. And thanks for making this one. That was an experience. I'm glad I've seen it. Thank you. Yeah, usually when there's nonsensical stuff in your own native language, you don't realize it because it's just, it's just normal for you. So if you like today's video, a click on the thumb up here below would be much appreciated. And I'm gonna leave here a couple links to the playlists you can find in my channel, so maybe take a look. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Go live a language. Ciao!